family, welcome back to the channel. My name is Threats by Nicky, and on today's episode we'll be learning how to make this beautiful gown. So if you're interested, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment. Let's go. So here are the pieces I'll be working with today. I've gone ahead to draft it out. So here's the front piece. I cut it in a bustier form. So this is my main fabric because I'm using the same material for the lining. So I'll go ahead and pin this together. Then I would also pin the other side of the bustier. I'm pinning them up because I want everything to be arranged when I get to the machine. Now I'll go ahead and do the same process for the lining piece for the bustier. Then here's my back piece. I would also go ahead and separate the main fabric from the lining, which I would then bring up the lining and also turn it over. So after going over to the sewing machine, you can see this is what I have. This is the front piece. So I will not be adding any padded to it, but you can decide to add to yours, or you can use a bra cup, whichever way, but I won't be making use of that for my own dress, for this particular dress rather. So I'm trying to bring out the back piece because I want to work on the shoulder right now. So I'll be placing the back piece right side facing right side on both ends. Then I would also go ahead to tuck in the shoulders. So the essence of making the shoulder this way is to give it the neat finishing on the outside, whether it be at the back of your clothing, you wouldn't see any rough edges. So if you find it difficult to understand what I'm saying, just look at the screen, you will get it properly. Just tuck in everything and get your pins and hold it up together. So now you go ahead and do the same thing for the other side of the shoulder, and when you're done, we're going to be sewing on that line. So now I'll be flipping it over to the right side, so I'll show you what I was talking about. As you can see, both the front and the back is neatly finished. So now we're going to be working on the skirt part of the gown, right? The down part of the gown. So here is my main fabric, and I'm going to be using the same fabric for the lining piece too. So now what I'm going to be doing is to open the front piece up, then I'll bring the back piece, I'll place it right side facing right side on both ends, and I'll be using my pin to hold it up together. Then afterwards I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and stitch down on the allowance. So if it's 1 inch or whatever inch, you stitch down. So here is my lining piece. So I would also be working on the lining piece just as I worked on the main piece. So you're going to bring the back piece right side facing right side. Then we're going to use our pins to hold it up and also go ahead and sew on the provided allowance for it. So now this is the result I have. So would leave the main piece aside and work on the lining piece for the down part of this gown. As you can see, I've gone ahead to join the two sides together, and if you have light, you can go ahead and iron the pieces out. So I'll be turning it over to the wrong side, and I'll be making use of Reginine boning. That's a sewable boning. Yes, so I'll be making use of this. It's the 1/2 inch boning. So I'll be sewing on the two sides of the lining, and also I'll go ahead to create out lines, straight lines, and also vertical lines on the bodies of the skirts. So let's go over to the sewing machine so I'll show you. So here I'm trying to work on the first step, which is sewing the boning through the seam line. That's the side seam lines. As you can see, you would take your time to work on this side seams because we have the hip area. So while sewing, you would ensure you're opening up this area so you wouldn't have to fold them or sew wrongly. So you would do this from the waist point down to the length of the gown, but please ensure to leave out 1/2 inch or 1 inch depending on the allowance you're going to be taking to turn the main fabric and the lining together, right? So I think 1/2 inch would be best. So just mark out 1/2 inch. As you can see, I'm marking out mine. So you're going to stop your boning process there, so it can give you room to turn the main fabric and the lining together. So once you're done marking out the area, you can go ahead and sew down to that point. And once you get down to that point, you just top stitch and you can cut out the remaining piece of the boning. You go ahead and do this same process for the other side of the lining. So now this is the result of what you'll be having with the boning structures. Now is to give the skirt part a standing structure, right? So we'll go ahead to work on the upper bodice of the gown. So you go ahead to take both the front and the back piece, you pin them up together using your pins. Then you go ahead to do the same for the other side. So you might want to close your zipper allowance using your pin so you can get an accurate measurement of your body. So you go ahead, take your pins, then you take out your zipper allowance and close it up just like you see on the screen. The next thing is to divide our body measurement. So we're going to be dividing our bust measurement into 4 and we're going to indicate it on the bust area. Then we're going to divide our waist measurement into 4 too, and we're going to be indicating that on the waistline. So after indicating, the next thing you would want to do is to connect all dots together just like you see on the screen, and then you will go over to your sewing machine and sew. So here is the main fabric for the down part of the skirt. We'll go ahead to stitch on our sewing allowance, after which we'll bring back the lining piece of the down part of the gown and also the main fabric. You can see our lining piece, how it's looking. We've gone ahead to finish up the boning casing to give us the structure effect that we have. So the next thing now is to bring the lining and the main fabric and sew them together. Remember, we left 1/2 inch on the down part of the lining piece. Next, we're going to go over to the sewing machine to hem the down part of this fabric, both the lining and the main fabric together. We hem it by 1/2 inch that we left while sewing the boning casing to turn out, and also turn out the zipper allowance. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what it looks like already. As you can see, we've hemmed it. The down part is neatly finished, as you can see on the screen. Now this is looking absolutely beautiful. So you can see the back side and the inside, everything aligned together. This is why you should take accurate measurements when trying to stitch on your sewing allowance. So here is the upper part of the bodice. I've gone ahead to finish that out. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to take the upper side and that down part of the skirt. We're going to join them up together. Remember, we closed our zipper allowance using our pins. So the next thing you want to do is to unpin it. Then you start pinning your upper bodice to the down part of the skirt. You pin it all around. Make sure that the waist measurement on the down part and that of the upper bodice is the same thing, so you wouldn't have excesses, right? You go over and sew, and then this is the final result. This is what it looks like. This is what we have. You can see the back and the front piece is all looking good. So after this, next is to work on our sleeve. So these are the sleeve I cut out, just a small cap sleeve. I cut it out with a lining. Open the sleeve up just like you see on the screen, right side facing right side, and you go over and sew on the hem line, and then we'll be fixing it to an outfit. You can see what we have here. It's neatly finished and everything. So the next thing is to go over and give this outfit a good press. Just steam it down well. I went ahead to add rose flowers on it, a white rose flower, but I would not be posting the tutorial here because I don't have it. But if you want to learn how to make a rose flower, please go to my channel my uploads, you're going to see a tutorial on that. Here's the final look of this dress. Beautiful, right? Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, and turn your notification bell to get a notification when I post something new. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.